Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Happy New Year. I can't believe it's already January. I always feel like December is the longest month ever, and now it's January and it's a new year. And for the new year, I have some new books. So this is just like a collective book haul of books that I got for Christmas, books that I got myself for Christmas, some books that I got off of thrift books, and Barnes & Noble had an incredible sale, 50% off all hardcover books, and I think I got eight hardcover books for like $90. It was an incredible sale. I never really get anything from Barnes & Noble because it's so expensive. Literally hardcovers can be like $30, $35, but half off, like that's better than Amazon prices. So I had to shop that sale. I'm just gonna really quickly talk about the books that I got for Christmas and the books that I received for Christmas, and then I'm going to talk about the Barnes & Noble books just because that is the biggest stack of books that I have, and then I will talk about the books that I got for half price. First book that I have is Clap When You Land by Elizabeth Acevedo. My sister gave me this for Christmas. I actually read it and already have it, but she got me a signed edition about two sisters, Camino and Yahara, and their father passes away. He dies in a plane crash. And these two sisters, they do not know about each other. One was born and raised in New York, and she lives in New York with her mom, and then one of the sisters lives in the Dominican Republic, where she was born and raised, and she lives with her aunt. And they don't know about each other, and they're kind of coming to the understanding that they're not their father's only daughter, and how their relationship kind of changes and progresses, and it is 5 stars. I'm going to keep both copies because I think this book is excellent. The next books are books that I got for myself. I have On Girlhood by Gloria Edom. These are a collection of essays written by young Black girls that are in their childhood and teenage years and how they grow up, and it also has discussion questions. This cover is absolutely beautiful, and I'm really enjoying essay collections and just things like that, short stories, personal descriptions, and memoirs, so I thought this would be perfect to pick up and read in the new year. The next book that I have is When the Reckoning Comes by Latanya McQueen. It is about a young woman who's returning back to her small southern town for her friend's wedding on a plantation. I think there are some themes about kind of rekindling a friendship, but I also know that there is definitely themes of like slavery, and I'm kind of getting the vibe that it's like a Get Out scenario, in the sense of it's like only African American people working, and it's like the 21st century, so it's kind of odd. And I think this is a thriller. I haven't read it yet, but I'm really excited to read it. The next book that I have is Shoko Smiles by Choi Eun-young. I actually talked about this book in a previous video. I'm not sure if I got it in December or late November, but I wanted to include it because it is a new addition to my book collection. It's a collection of essays about Korean women and their young adulthood and growing into women, and how politics affect their relationships with other people. I actually started reading this, but I didn't finish, not because I didn't like it. I think that I just found myself having to kind of start reading a lot of audiobooks at the time. Sometimes I can't actually sit down and physically read a book just because of craziness. So I definitely need to finish this. It's really good. It's even says on the back that it is good for readers of Sally Rooney, Banana Yoshimoto, Marilyn Robinson. It's written like just really in that Sally Rooney style, which I really enjoy the way that she writes. The book that I have in the book that I'm currently reading is 101 Essays That Will Change the Way You Think by Brianna Wiest. This book is like shadow work. I'm not even joking. Like it's a thickie anyway, but every single chapter will make you literally think. Like the questions are prompting, the essays are just written in a way that you're just always thinking. And I love this book, but I have to read it in chunks. Like it's taking me a while to get through it. It reads really quickly, but it's taking me a while because every time you read it, you can have a discussion with yourself. So this is really good. Hopefully this gets a lot more recognition in 2022. On to the Barnes & Noble haul. The first book that I have is The Secret by Rhonda Byrne, or Byer. I can't really tell how to say her name based on the font. This is a really popular book. I'm pretty sure it's just about positive thinking. Parents actually have this book downstairs and I didn't know, but now I have my own copy, so I'm really excited to read it. I have Nobody, Somebody, Anybody by Kelly McClory. It is about a young woman named Amy who is working as a maid, and she is preparing to take her MET test for the 3rd time. She is invited over by her neighbor Gary, and they have some kind of romance, or what the synopsis says is she begins an obsession. But Gary is in a relationship with someone. It's long distance and they're reconciling that. It's supposed to be very funny, and it was one of the new like hardcover nonfiction, so I went ahead and picked it up. Next book that I have is These Violent Delights by Micah Nimriver. It is about 2 classmates in college meet in the 1970s, and they begin this relationship that turns violent in a way that I guess is romantic for them, and yeah, it just kind of uncovers a relationship from there. It's very long. I didn't know it was going to be that long. Not to say that I wouldn't have picked it up, but I'm curious to see how the book progresses, and since it is in the synopsis introduces it in the 1970s, I wonder if it's one of those stories that's going to cover time. So yeah, I'm excited to read it. That I have is The Ballerinas by Rachel Kapelic Dale. It is about 3 women who were like very successful ballerinas in their girlhood, and then they go their separate ways in life and come back together years later, like 20 years later, when one of them is choreographing a show. So they all meet up again. It covers several years. As I flipped through the book, I could see there's like different dates, and so it jumps back and forth from when they were young women to now in their middle adulthood. So I think it's gonna be really good, and the cover just drew me in. I don't have any dance experience or background, but I really wanted to read this. And I think probably one of the most popular books on the stack is Apples Never Fall by Leanne Moriarty. It is about a family that I think they all gradually go missing, and no one's looking into the family because they're like supposed to be perfect. So this is, I think, the only mystery that I have. It is thick. I like went ham, literally, but I'm really excited to read it. I'm not sure if I've heard good reviews or not. I just know that I've definitely seen this book on BookTube. The book that I have is The Crossroads by Jonathan Franzen. It is about a family. I'm pretty sure it's over time. They live in Chicago. It is set on December 23rd, 1971, and the father is a pastor at a church. The son is returning home from college, and nobody is like agreeing on anything, and they're kind of just like at a crossroads. It's very, very thick, so I'm assuming it'll kind of cover the dynamic, and I was just really drawn in by the cover, and I felt like we're gonna get to know the stories in these the characters in these pages. The book that I have is Falling by TJ Newman. I could actually read the synopsis since it is so short. You just boarded a flight to New York. There are 143 other passengers on board. What you don't know is that 30 minutes before the flight, your pilot's family was kidnapped. For his family to live, everyone on your plane must die. The only way the family will survive is if the pilot follows his orders and crashes the plane. Enjoy the flight. That's my jam. So, and I've heard really good things about this book, so I'm excited to read it. Next, and the last book that I got at Barnes & Noble is 5 Tuesdays in Winter by Lily King. It's a collection of essays that covers, I think, some tougher topics like loss, desire, unrequited love, rejection, just things like that. And I thought it was really good, and I love essay collections, so I picked it up. The last books that I have are some books that I got from Thrift Books online. There's an app, and you can order half-price books that are heavily discounted. They probably are going to be a little bit old or used. You definitely can get books that are in really good quality, but a lot of the times the books that I receive are definitely old. I can tell that they've been used. They have writing in them, which I don't mind, but it's a really good place to pick up books for a discounted price. First book that I have is East of Eden by John Steinbeck. I actually am not sure what this is about. I kind of forgot the synopsis in it. I can't find it anywhere on this book. This book, I kid you not, is probably older than me. I know that it is about, I'm sure, this man and his life spanning over decades. I like that. I like progression, so I'm really excited to read it. And I think this is a classic. I don't know. I haven't read classics, and I would like to get into classics in 2022. The book that I have is 11 Minutes by Paulo Coelho. It is about a young girl named Maria who has her heart broken, and then she gets the opportunity to travel far, and she meets another guy that she falls in love with, and she's trying to understand what love is and what it means based on the experience that she's already had. And I heard that there's just a lot of lessons and gems in this book. I also have Veronica Decides to Die by Paulo Coelho. It is about a 24-year-old woman named Veronica who has everything. She has the job, the money, the relationship, everything. She's beautiful, and one morning she wakes up and decides that she no longer wants to live, and she moves forward with that, but she wakes up in a hospital and is told that it only has a couple of days to live, and it kind of just digs deeper into that. This book is really cool because it is annotated, so maybe somebody read it for a class or they just got a lot out of it. There's a lot of places where they have like highlighted and underlined and wrote different parts, so I think that's really cool. This book that I have is The Orphan's Tale by Pam Janoff. I actually saw this at Barnes & Noble, like brand new hardcover, and I found it on thrift books, so I was able to get it for a lot cheaper. It is about a young girl named Noah who was impregnated at 16 by a Nazi soldier and was forced to give her baby up. And then one night she finds a boxcar full of Jewish infants. She takes one and runs off with him, just thinking about the baby that she was forced to give up, and she ends up joining a circus and creating a relationship with one of the other people who are in the circus. And I think it follows their relationship and their connection, but I just thought it seemed like really interesting, and I decided to go ahead and pick it up. Thank you so much for watching my book haul. I hope that you enjoyed it. I cannot wait to get into reading this year. I really want to just read a lot of nonfiction, a lot of essay collections, but of course I have so much fiction that I picked up. So yeah, I'm really excited to get into reading. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye.